The court will adjudge the defendant guilty of the offense of murder and fix her sentence at life in prison. This time, the court will order that the Sheriff's Department deliver the defendant to the custody of the Corrections Cabinet for service of her sentence of imprisonment. That's all for today. Court will be adjourned.
Applause afterwards as you got the word from the judge today. New tonight, life in prison for Tiffany Lucas. It comes after she pleaded guilty to murdering both of her sons, Maurice Baker and Jaden Howard. That was a little over a year ago on November 8th, 2023. The boys' family gathering in the courtroom today, speaking directly to Lucas, telling her how their lives have been changed forever. It's our top story. Hello, everybody. I'm Doug Proffitt.
And I'm Connie Leonard. Ian Hardwick and photojournalist Addie Hill spoke with one family member who says she'll be there when Lucas is up for parole.
Tiffany Lucas looks ahead at life in prison after pleading guilty to murdering her young boys, Maurice Baker Jr. and Jaden Howard. From Baker's grandmother to heartbroken cousins and Howard's stepmother, the families faced Lucas down ahead of her sentencing.
I have been in Jaden's life since he was 6 months old. While I'm thankful for the time I had with him, it was too short. My daughter, Charlie Howard, is 4 years old, and she has already lost her father, and he took her only brother.
The testimony was enough to bring Lucas to tears. After shooting her sons, Lucas collapsed in the neighbor's driveway where she stayed as officers put her in handcuffs. When she was brought to the Bullitt County Sheriff's Office, she said she'd shot herself in the head. Her defense lawyers say that was Lucas's plan.
Even at her lowest, when she thought she was protecting them from an imminent abduction and lifetime of horrific trauma, she never imagined a life without them. But the gun jammed when she turned it on herself.
Bobby Baker, who loved both boys, told Lucas she'll be at her parole hearing 20 years from now.
In 20 years, she'll be about 52. You can still have kids at 52. And once again, I feel like they didn't get the justice they deserved.
Life with parole was the maximum sentence the judge could grant in this case. The prosecutor said in order to go without parole, it would have had to have been tried by a jury. In Shepherdsville, I'm Ian Hardwick for WHAS11 on your side.
The prosecutor also said that he was concerned bringing this case before a jury trial may have ended with Lucas getting a shorter sentence. Connie?
Well, a Louisville father faced a judge this morning after his 3-year-old daughter got a hold of a gun and shot herself. 29-year-old Amante Goss was arrested after he told officers he loaded his handgun and put it under the couch, then fell asleep. Goss says he was woken up by a gunshot. His daughter, 3-year-old Aubrey, was rushed to Norton Children's Hospital, where she died. His attorney addressed the circumstances to the judge.
I don't know the circumstances under which this statement was obtained. I do know that Mr. Goss obviously called, he's the one that called for medical help. He's the one that called the ambulance. He was distraught about the condition of his child. And I don't know how accurate any statement he gave would have been under those circumstances.
Goss is charged with manslaughter and possession of a handgun by a convicted felon. That last conviction was when he was 14 years old and charged as an adult for an armed robbery and home invasion in Michigan. He's being held on $250,000 bond. Goss is due back in court December 2nd.
Also here at 5, a woman died while crossing Fern Valley Road this morning. Police responded to this area you see right here, just east of I-65, where they discovered the pedestrian dead in the roadway. The woman there, investigators say she wasn't walking in the crosswalk when a car hit her at about 6 a.m. The driver received minor injuries.
Police in Oldham County arrested 2 people they say were involved in a deadly hit and run on November 11th. 75-year-old Margaret Preble was found dead on US 42 in LaGrange. Now, officers say it was a hit and run, and now 53-year-old Jason Cornett is charged with leaving the scene of a crash. Officers determined it was Cornett behind the wheel of a black Silverado pickup truck who hit and killed Preble. They say his car was impounded before getting the damage damage fixed from that crash. 23-year-old Zoe Wolf is also charged with tampering with physical evidence. Police say that she knowingly drove the damaged truck out of Oldham County the next day.
Right here, new tonight, we are now starting to see structural engineers making their way inside homes impacted by the Givaudan plant explosion in the Clifton neighborhood. It comes now on the third day of those office hours being hosted by the company in person to talk to impacted residents one-on-one. Our senior reporter Isaiah Kim Martinez and photojournalist Jessica Farley are live outside the United Crescent Hill Ministries building again on State Street. And Isaiah, this company criticized from day one that they weren't doing enough. Now residents, do they feel like they are being helped? What are you hearing now 10 days later?
Well, Doug, they're just glad to see people in front of them who work for Givaudan. We know that was a big issue at first. Now we have 4 days worth. This is day 3 of those one-on-one meetings, just closing up for tonight. Tonight was 3 to 5. Tomorrow there will be more time. Overall, these residents say they've gotten some gift cards for a couple $100s worth to kind of cover those immediate costs. But big questions still loom over how long it'll take them to recoup their losses here with that explosion. Now, I want to tell you, we talked to Brian Craig. He's a tenant who's in the process of moving out of the home, his home on Payne Street, after debris broke his back door and knocked a hole through his ceiling.
How much it's going to cost to get an apartment, pay the first month's rent and the security deposit, and it's just, I don't know exactly when they're going to give me compensation for that, But again, I mean, they seemed like they were more than happy to get these things done.
Yeah. Now, we were there when an insurance adjuster arrived at Craig's home, a fourplex that was hit by that massive sheet of metal that came from the tank that exploded. We've been showing you these photos all week. Now, again, the big question right now is just how long it'll take for some of these folks to be able to move back into their homes, even those without structural damage. It's not clear right now. Some telling me it could take days, weeks, even months. Overall, though, again, Doug, they're happy to have the Givaudan folks in front of them. We have another meeting here tomorrow from 10 a.m. to noon. Doug.
Well, Isaiah, you were talking about tank number 6, of course, overheated, blew over there into the neighborhood. Are people still finding damage this many days later?
Yeah, Doug, cracks are actually revealing themselves right now as we speak. There are people who are getting their some of their businesses even checked right now because things might look good from the outside, but they don't want to take any chances. We actually talked with the owner over at Veronice restaurant who says he's not taking any chances, getting folks to come in, assess the damages, and make sure that we avoid any issues here going forward with some of those buildings. Doug.
All right, thank you very much. We'll have more from Isaiah coming up tonight at 6.
All right, well, we just saw Isaiah and other of our crew members wearing heavy coats out there tonight, Ben, and folks going out to the football games. We've got the playoffs going on.
It's going to be a cold one.
They need to dress warm, right?
What about wind chills again, Ben? I know that was a big factor yesterday.
It's a factor now, too. Good football weather, I guess, as long as you bundle up, layer up here for tonight. Wind chills will be in the 30s, and that's pretty much where we've been for quite some time here. So really no budge in those temperatures, 44, 45, but it feels colder than that with that wind from the west at around 10 to 20. Overcast conditions as well as we look live over our city skyline with our Oxmoor Auto Group Kim, part of our U of L Health Camera Network. Mostly lower 40s out there with that wind chill at 36 in Elizabethtown, down at 35 is what it feels like in Madison. Snow's off to our east. In fact, a blizzard warning around Snowshoe, West Virginia, where they could see 12 to 24 inches of snow and winds up to 50 miles per hour. So more extreme to our east. For us, we just have a little leftover drizzle in some spots, but most of tonight is going to be dry. We've got a quiet, dry weekend ahead as well. So as we look ahead here with Futurecast, clouds remain for tonight. Low temperatures will be in the upper 30s and lower 40s, and it's going to be tough to get rid of these clouds tomorrow. It'll stay mostly cloudy, maybe a peak or two of sunshine with upper 40s and lower 50s. That forecast tonight, 38 degrees, mid 40s at noon tomorrow, and that high temperature at 52 degrees, still a little bit below normal. Now we are going to see sunshine back around 60 Sunday. We'll look ahead all the way through our Thanksgiving holiday coming up.
All right, thank you so much, Ben. Any future solar projects in Clark County, Indiana will have to conform to new rules approved Thursday night. The head of the county commissioners there says they were restrictive, but for a good reason. Reporter Travis Breeze is here now. So Travis, does this mean that solar won't be coming to Clark County?
I think it's too early to say that, Connie, but a company who's been trying to get solar in this area for years called these changes an extreme response to some of the local concerns. The real debate hinges on the property rights of people participating in a solar project versus the rights of their neighbors.
The motion was denied for the applicant, so.
Looking back to 2023, the feeling around solar has been overwhelmingly negative in southern Indiana. This was when Bright Night tried to get a 3,900-acre solar farm last October. Just this week, Orion Renewables was denied for a 2,000-acre facility in Jefferson County, Indiana.
All we're asking for is not to cram it at our back door.
Sandy Basham has been a supporter of property rights for neighbors. Many of these people not wanting to look at solar panels or have their land possibly devalued. On Thursday, Clark County approved several changes that will affect future projects, including 650-foot setbacks from solar inverters to non-participating homes, and no more than 4,000 acres total of solar in the county. That can be reevaluated if the county ever reaches 3,000.
I think you have to start with the premise that you just can't outlaw something because you don't like it. We have to set laws and standards that allow for that to take place, yet still protect the public or their neighbors that are surrounded.
Commissioner Brian Glover says he's only aware of one solar facility in the county. This 13-acre facility between Henryville and Scottsburg off of I-65. There are some who've been supportive of the push for projects over 1,000 acres.
I understand everybody has property rights. I have property rights and my neighbor does as well. At the 650 that they have just approved, my neighbor's property rights have now infringed on mine.
Carrie Vaughn has been trying to give her land to Orion Renewables in both Clark and Jefferson County. She was not a fan of this week's vote.
That's kind of disheartening for me.
In a statement to us, Orion Renewables said the changes in the ordinance are extreme responses to concerns regarding solar projects. They certainly make development more difficult in Clark County. A spokesperson for Orion said if they are officially going to apply for a project in Clark County, they said it would be far less than the new maximum acreage of 4,000. In the studio, Travis Breeze, WHAS 11 on your side.
Travis, thank you so much for that report. Well, the man who modernized Kentucky's medical examiner's office, which was based in Louisville, Dr. George Nichols, a Louisville native and a true character, died this week.
It is my opinion that a cause of death cannot be ascertained in the body of Zachary Taylor as the result of decomposition and loss of soft tissue. He was not poisoned with arsenic.
Dr. Nichols was Kentucky's first medical examiner. He was a critical part of so many terrible cases through the years, including the Carrollton bus crash, in which 27 people died, including many young children. He met with each and every family member. He also played a key role in the exhumation of President Zachary Taylor at Zachary Taylor National Cemetery in Louisville in 1991, where he announced his findings to live TV audience locally and on the cable networks. I'll show you what he had to say about that entire case many years later. It's quite funny. George died on Wednesday, and it was I'm going to look back at his amazing life, which was dedicated to understanding death. He died with his family around him and in the great care of hospice, according to the Jefferson County coroner, at the age of 77.